Now, joining us for a broader discussion on the Ad Hoc Committee's progress meeting this afternoon is Andy Mashaile, his independent security strategist. Andy, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Now, judging by just the interactions today, the idea, though quite appealing, of running a parliamentary inquiry alongside the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is proving to be somewhat challenging, because we heard today that the star witness, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, cannot be available to the Ad Hoc Committee between the 17th and 22nd of September, because the Madlanga Commission commences on the 17th, something that some parliamentarians now are not taking kindly to. Just your views on those exchanges there around the difficulty of the availability of the so-called star witness.
Mfundo, good afternoon to you and the viewers of the show. A few days ago, if not a few weeks ago, I spoke about the integrity in the process, as well as the legitimacy that would be of perception by ordinary people in the street, like both you and I. It is a serious challenge because the scheduling will lead to some further challenges as we go on, Mfundo. But I am hoping and praying that those who are tasked with scheduling for the two forums, or for the two forums, for the want of a better word, will then create a time and space in a way and manner that the star witness begins as the one who will lead all this process in terms of providing wisdom and knowledge that is in his possession. It is a bit worrisome that other people like the National Commissioner and the Minister would then be the first ones to appear before the Ad Hoc Committee. I would have wanted to listen to the star witness delivering evidence or sharing knowledge and information that he is in possession of, so that the process can run smooth and easy and stick to the time frames that the president has prescribed for the two forums or for the two fora.
But that element of time frames, because people just want some sort of a conclusion, because these are issues that have been burning in the country for the longest time and now only have come to the fore with somebody being brave enough to almost give us a glance as to what happens behind closed doors with the infiltration of police law enforcement. Now, if there is that limitation of time frame, does it then not make sense, in as much as the star witness would have been ideal to have been the one that starts? But there was a statement made by the evidence leader that unfortunately in this situation, if they are to run concurrently, they're still going to find themselves in a position of following the leader, where they'll have to allow the Madlanga Commission to conclude with General Mkhwanazi on the 22nd, and only then he'll be available, because even when it comes to just the copy of the statement, the Madlanga Commission has indicated to the Ad Hoc Committee that they'll only get that specific copy of his statement on the 17th of September, on the very morning when he's to begin his testimony. So in that instance, does it not mean that we are going to see the Ad Hoc Committee lagging behind going forward?
Mfundo, reschedule if you ask me what I would do, I would say, Mfundo, reschedule the appearance before the Ad Hoc Committee on the 17th. If you are going to receive statements in the morning, how then will you be able to base your questions and many of the dynamics that you would like to see playing out in the interview that you are having with the star witness, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi? To me, it doesn't augur well from, once again, Mfundo, integrity in the process, legitimacy in the process, public perception with regard to how the process is unfolding. I am definitely sure we will be listening to statement that says there is a whitewash, or we are trying, or government and or the processes are trying to sweep some few things under the carpet. So once again, the scheduling is a serious challenge. I don't know what was the wisdom of the two fora to be so close to each other, Andy, knowing very well that
protest. Well, we continue our conversation on the Ad Hoc Committee looking into infiltration of law enforcement. They had their progress meeting today. Quite a lot of issues there being discussed today, particularly around the unavailability of what would be termed the star witness, being General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. In this instance, last week, there was a posture that seemed somewhat a bit antagonistic, where it was even stated by leader Julius Malema that what has happened here is that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi has started the mess. That was the term that was used, and was certainly, if he must be subpoenaed, he'll have to come. Andy Mashaile, what did you make of just that posture? I know there is frustration from parliamentarians who don't want to be second best to another fora, as you would call it, that is looking into these issues. But the term seems to have worried some, where it then came to mind that possibly a person who wants to assist in establishing the facts around infiltration in the country would then feel as though he himself is now on trial.
There will be hostility, Mfundo. I have expected hostilities the first day of the press conference, in terms of the processes that would have been said. Remember, the Ad Hoc Committee reports to Parliament, and they represent their parties, and they are looking at accountability of the department. Hence, I'm sure you are seeing Ntate Masemola and Ntate Firoz Cachalia closing in on the gap. I am sure the politicians wanted some juicy extracts or nuggets of juiciness from the evidence of Ntate Nhlanhla, so that when he goes to the Madlanga Commission, they would then be in a position to can extrapolate once again nuggets that they will use in arranging and rearranging the dynamics to suit their committee as well as their political parties.
And I suppose it is important to have some sort of distinguishing factor between the two forums, because that was emphasized by the evidence leader, that in as much as the same witnesses will come before the Madlanga Commission and come before them, their terms of references are different. So in that instance, even their line of questioning would be different, because they want to arrive at a different conclusion to the other. So I suppose it's important that there must be a distinction, so there's no duplication of work here where people feel it's a waste of resources. But on the aspect of the witnesses to be called, we know that Commissioner Masemola will be called. We know that General Sibia will be called. Former Minister Bheki Cele, the invitation has been extended, but they said he hasn't confirmed. Today is the deadline, so perhaps they will get some sort of indication if he'll be available. The minister that's currently on special leave, Mr. Senzo Mchunu, will be called. Professor Firoz Cachalia. Are you at least in the first element of this, or first aspects of this inquiry, are you happy with just the witnesses to be called for now, to give us clarity on the issues at hand?
Yes, Mfundo, those are the main key players. If you remember that press, that Sunday, Yamatata, that problematic Sunday, or Sunday of problems, those were mentioned as the key players. I am definitely sure that the former minister would also form part and parcel of the key players, as we saw it unfolding in the public, in the media space. The two factions, or the two camps that we saw in one of the newspapers, suggesting that on the other side, it is alleged that it will be Minister Mchunu, General Sibia, and General Firoz Cachalia. On the left, the other faction, it would be former Minister Bheki Cele, followed by Ntate Masemola and Mkhwanazi and Dumisani Kumar. So we have seen these pairings and these factions, and from them, I would expect that they present what would be to the satisfaction in terms of spilling out the details of capture, of police capture, and many of the evils of infiltration, so that all other processes that unfold after the key players, and they would fit in on the puzzle as put forward by the main players.
Now, we heard at a briefing by the Madlanga Commission that certain evidence might not be made public. It will be in camera. Now, this has led to some sort of a debate. Some are angered as citizens who believe that the time for transparency has come. The reliance on the need to ensure our security is not compromised can no longer work or be used as some sort of a fig leaf or veneer. Can you just share with us the limitations that genuinely exist when it comes to testimony around police operations, if they are to be held publicly?
Two things quickly, Mfundo. Number one, I think some of your media colleagues will go to court and challenge Madlanga and the Madlanga Commission with regards to transparency and public interest. I am sure the element of public interest will play in on the applications of various media houses. Number two, which is different from point number one, would be the issue of the names, the witnesses, the investigations that are still running, those investigations that are being conducted. There might be linkages in terms of those who gave evidence before the Madlanga Commission and those who are suspects or who are alleged to have committed crime in cahoots with some senior managers, judges as alleged, prosecutors as alleged, and all others in the process of the criminal justice cluster, defeating the ends of justice, as this is the main key core problem, defeating the ends of justice and creating room and space for organized crime syndicates.
But most certainly a very important moment in South Africa, the 17th of September, when that Madlanga Commission does commence. Andy, thank you very much for your insights this afternoon. That's Andy Mashaile. He's an independent security strategist talking to us there.